Hello and welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for making it to our webinar here. I have a very special guest here, and I'll let her introduce herself. I'm friend and colleague Bonnie Bruderer. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi. Hey guys, it's so exciting to be here tonight. I'm actually here in Miami because we're filming a television show here in 48 hours. So you can see I brought a little of Miami to the call for you guys.
How awesome is
We'll
that?
do a little beach tour in a minute. Yeah. So
Awesome.
let's get into it. I'm so happy to be here. I know that you've told me so many amazing things about your audience and some of the people that you've worked with on voice coaching and so many other aspects. So it's really exciting to dig in and get to meet everybody.
Yeah, and this is really exciting stuff. I always have people come up to me and who have mentioned, oh, I'd like to have my own TV show, but I have no idea how to go about that. So when you mentioned about the opportunity of having my own TV show, I'm like, how does this work? I want to know more. Yes, please, let's do this. So I know several people who have asked who have more information about this, and this is why we're doing this webinar. So if you can
Yeah.
tell us more about this opportunity. Well, first of all, tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Sure. Well, my background, I come from the personal development world. So I say I grew up in that world. I worked for 20 years for celebrity motivational speakers like Tony Robbins, Harvey McKay, Christopher Howard. I worked with Mark Victor Hansen, Jack Canfield, pretty much anyone that you've read a book by a bedside table. That's generally who I've worked with over the last 20 years. And really have a passion for giving tools to help people make their lives better, to really inspire people to live the life of their dreams. And so over that period of time, I established a coaching business. I have 10 different certifications in coaching and human behavior and human potential. And I also authored 4 books and hosted a radio show back when radio was actually legitimate radio, not just blog talk. Not that that's bad, but it was a different beast back then. And my dream was always to do television. So 5 years ago, I moved from California to New York City, where I didn't know one person. And I just followed my dream and I did whatever it took to start a television show, and that was successful. I had met the right contacts and we created a pilot, and the pilot was really built on the premise of interviewing different thought leaders, authors, speakers, entrepreneurs that I had met over my 20 years in the business, and putting them on the show because they may not be a Tony Robbins or may not have, millions of dollars or millions of followers, and they still deserve a platform, and that's how you and I connected. First, we had you on the show about 2 years ago. And so that's really how my media company got started. The Ask Bonbon show was very successful. It's still on in New York City every Monday night on the Lifestyle channel. And over the years, we just grew and grew. We grew in distribution. We went from being in 1 city to being in 4 cities. And we then just kept multiplying. We were then in 7 cities, then 10, then 20. And at that same time, we started to produce multiple shows because, to your point, every single person that came on the show, maybe not every, but 90%, would come back and say, how do I get my own show? So I would say, okay, well, I'll tell you, but it's very expensive and it takes a lot of time, energy, money. But essentially over the years, as our distribution grew to where we are today, 50 different media outlets, we now have the opportunity to help people have their own television show and then to broadcast it out to the world. So that, in a little nutshell, is who I am and what I'm doing.
That is so awesome. And actually, we first connected when you took my power marketing for the voiceover actor class way back. So we
Yes,
a long time. And then we
we do.
reconnected when you invited me to your show.
Yeah, and it's so funny because I always think about that and I'm like, okay, and like I use the skills that you taught me so many times because when you're on TV, there was a while where I was on TV every single day, and it gets tiring and you have to remember, you have to go back to the basics, and I'm always so appreciative of what you taught me, and like I remember putting your mouth this way and do the exercises because it's really important.
That is so awesome. So tell us a little bit more of where is this happening? Because you're talking about people having their own TV shows, but a lot of the questions that come up is like, okay, do I need to go into a studio? How does this work? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So the industry that we are really working in is called the OTT industry, or you might hear it as cord cutters, you might hear it as connected devices, but basically it just means networks like Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, where it's where people are watching media these days. So if you have, a show that you want to watch, you probably go to Netflix or Hulu versus watching it at 8 p.m. on Channel 4, like we all used to do growing up. And so that's really the industry that we work in. And what we do, which is very unique, we have a proprietary technology, and it's essentially what I use to market my show, but now we have over 100 channel partners that we're using to market their shows. So basically what we do is we build you a channel. Your channel can have as much or as little video content as you want. And then every time you upload a video, just like you're uploading something to Facebook or to YouTube, what happens is once it hits your channel, our team then syndicates it or pushes it out to the 50 different media properties. So we basically take one piece of video and we put it 50 different places, and we put it in these places that are very hard, expensive, and limiting to get into. You have to know the right person to even be able to get onto that channel, and then you usually have to pay a lot of money, and it takes a lot of time. So we've really solved all those challenges for content creators, and we've provided them a vehicle to be able to not only have their own show, but then to have immediate distribution.
So if I'm understanding correctly, you're simplifying the process. So let's say I want to have my own TV show. I have no idea how to go about it. You already have the distribution channels and all that in place that basically it's just, I can just plug in and have my TV show, so to speak.
Yep, exactly. That's what we've done. I mean, our company spent literally 3 years and produced over 700 shows. We spent a few $100,000 doing it and building all of these relationships with all of the distribution companies. And so one thing I know for sure is it's incredibly hard and incredibly expensive. I guess that's two things I know for sure. And I didn't want anybody else to go through that, because I feel like people that are creating content like yourself are generally people that are coming from this heart space. And, maybe we don't have a ton of money to do that, or maybe we don't have, all of the resources, but yet we can really help a lot of people. And that's why we created this network, is to be able to allow someone like yourself to just do what you do and what you're great at every day. I mean, to give an example for people watching, a show, you have a channel. So one idea for your channel, you could just pop a camera next to your video coaching that you're doing, and that's a show, because you're giving such great information. You're giving, it's like we see people they film their podcasts, right? And you're like, that's so weird. They're filming a radio show. But I love watching film podcasts. I don't know why. It's so weird, because you should either watch TV or listen. But anyway, the reason I share that is people can create content any way that they want. We have channel partners that literally just use their iPhone. I wish you could see my device here. I can actually show you. It's one of these little, I call it a grabber. I'm sure it has a more official word. But it's basically a tripod that you put your camera on. You can put it in your car. I like to put it in the car and wrap it around the rear view mirror. You can prop it up here. I have it propped up on a little stand here, and you can produce content. Like, one of my favorite shows is the Deliciously Fabulous Adventures of Denise Duff, and that's how she does all her content. It's just her being her, wacky, amazing. So you can do it all different kinds of ways. But basically what we do is we want to take those people that have a great message and we want to get them out to the world.
That's so awesome. That's actually giving me ideas for my own show.
Well, that's the point. Yeah, I mean, it's so true. People say that, they're like, you should have someone follow you around with a camera all day. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. But I mean, even look, like today I'm in Miami. So while we're on the webinar, we'll just look, how much more interesting is this? Like, here we are, we're walking, you're seeing, I can give you a little tour, but yet it's a webinar about how to have your own TV show. And it's not just us sitting in front of a computer. I can show you these beautiful, look at these umbrellas, black and white. I love these. I want one for my deck. There's the beach over there. So like, you can produce content any moment with whatever you're doing. Now I'm going to sit on this big fabulous chair and finish the call. And it becomes interesting, and that becomes a show. So that's what we do.
And that is so awesome, because one of the things that I get, a lot of people asking, well, isn't it really expensive? Do I need to do all these expensive camera? And nowadays, like you just said, you can do video from your phone, and it's really simple to be able to do that. And you're creating content, you can have your show.
Yeah. We, like I said, we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars producing shows, and they're great. They're good quality shows. I'm very proud of so many of them. However, it is very, very expensive. So one thing that I've learned is that when you're on the road, like right now, I've been on the road for 15 weeks working on these different shows and working on the production and the different channel partners. And so I'm living out of hotels. I just said to my friend, I'm like, my hotel looks like I'm like a displaced refugee, but I'm not. I'm living in a 4-star hotel or 5-star hotel. No, not 5, 4 probably. But so anyway, I have to work with what I've got. And so to do this call, even, like I just grabbed my iPhone, even just doing this, and I have my little grabber, as I call it, a Joby grabber, and it just is perfect. It's like, this is what it is. This is my life, and this is the content, and it resonates with a lot of people. But yet each person, each one of our 100 channel partners has a different style and a different message and a different way that they produce content. So our mission is really just to get that out into the world, and we do it for the everyday person. We are starting to talk to companies like Aura, who do Larry King's content. We're working with top brands. It's just an incredible way to be able to reach the world without just relying on your social medias or your YouTube or things that, everybody has access to. We're getting you into those sort of really niche markets that have hundreds of millions of viewers that people aren't really tapped into yet.
Right. And so one of the things that is coming up for me, it is obvious for a person who is a screenwriter and wants to have their own webisodic or whatever you want to call it, like TV series, that it's obvious why they would want that kind of distribution. However, why would a person like a public speaker want their own TV show?
That's a really great question. So really what you want to look at this as is a advertising vehicle. So just as if you make a video and you put it on YouTube, it doesn't ensure people are going to watch it. You have to market it. You have to purchase usually pay-per-click. So you have to build an audience. You have to do things that you're investing in to get people to watch you. What we do is we're sort of taking your video content that you've created and we turn it into an infomercial. So we're putting it in front of all of these new audiences that are looking for that type of content. And everything that you do, of course, you want to have an ask. Like you want to make sure that if you're doing a 10-minute, even if you're just filming your training call, working off that idea, you're filming your training call with one of your clients, at the very end, you want to say, if you like what you saw and you want to work with me as your trainer, here's how you find me. So everything that you're creating as far as video, you want to make sure that you have a way to monetize it. And then we're going to put it in front of those audiences that are looking for that with the goal of driving new clients, new revenue, new book sales, new whatever it is that your goals are.
That's awesome. And thank you for clarifying that, because it's one of those things that we are getting so used to doing video all the time and creating this content. We're creating this content anyway. However, we're not maximizing the use of the content. And
yes.
So part of what you're doing is monetizing that content and finding the distribution channel to get a larger audience and greater exposure.
Yes, absolutely. And, that is really the world that I come from. I worked for Tony Robbins for 10 years, who I believe is the master of how to build a brand and how to pitch your products. So I use all of those formulas in every single thing that we do. So building out the whole network that we created, which is bonbonnetworks.com, every single one of those channel partners we instruct to do just as I'm doing here. Make sure that you have an ask. Some of our channel partners, like we've got this great show, Curvy Girl, which is oversized, like larger ladies in lingerie. And their ask is to get people to join their Facebook page because they have 430,000 people on their Facebook page. So that's what they're growing. And then they do what they need to do there. You might have a book. We have people that are just doing a channel because they have a book that they want to sell. And so maybe you're just doing a video on a chapter of a book each week, and that's your thing. And then you encourage people to go buy the whole book. You, for example, might want some new voice coaching clients. So you could let them know, you could just be giving tools and techniques. And then at the very end, just say, hey, if you like what you saw, I have a free 20-minute workshop. Go here to book. So you want to make sure that you're, maximizing this, because at the end of the day, it really is an advertising vehicle, but it's done under the way that small ass. So it's all about great delivery of content, and then 1 minute is the hey.
So Bonnie, it seems that the connection is getting a little faulty. I don't know if you need to get closer to.
Uh-oh. Maybe. Let's go on a little walk while you ask your next question, and then we'll go back. I'll take you down to the room, the disaster area, because we have the show starting in 48 hours. So you're going to see behind the scenes what it looks like in a hotel room when you're starting a show.
Awesome. This is fun, just watching you move around.
That's the beautiful Miami skyline. We're almost back, don't worry. All right, here we go. And you guys get to see the world's cutest dog also. Okay, so next question.
So let's say that, so here's what's coming up for me, because one of the things that comes up for me for some of my clients is in particular my voiceover coaching clients, that I always encourage them to create their own content, create their own characters, and in a sense, create their own show. And they might put it up on their website for people to listen to different samples, things that they have created that is not necessarily gigs that they have booked, but it's something interesting that they're creating and that is their own. So let's say I am a person who wants to put together their own puppet show.
Okay.
And I'm gearing my show for children. And would working with BONBON Networks make sense for me?
Absolutely. And the question I would ask is what's your outcome, right? And anything that you do, I always want to know what's your outcome. And it sounds like, just guessing, your outcome would be to find new, probably moms to connect with, right? To come to your shows or to hire you for a birthday party or to, do XYZ. So every piece of content that you're doing, you want to use that frame. You want to use the goal of, okay, this is the message that I'm sending and this is what I want to do. But I need to make sure that I'm monetizing it, because that's the whole point. It's great to put out content, but honestly, I don't know anyone that just does it just to do it. They maybe started to do it as their passion, but then they realized there's a lot of money to be made. So then they switched over and they now monetize it.
So if you can expand a little bit on that, because we talk about monetizing, but what would be one way that I could monetize my show?
Well, I think for you, it's so like a very obvious way is to get new clients. So if you were to do a channel and every single week you're just doing a 5-minute tip on voiceovers and what people can do with their voice and telling stories, and maybe here's an interview with a Broadway or a Disney person that you've worked with and help them with their voice, then that's pretty amazing content. And if I were to see that flipping through, maybe I'm just on Apple TV and I stumble across your video, or I'm even on the BONBON Networks, that's pretty inspiring to me. And I don't know if you did this one in particular, but if I were to, be able to work with the voice coach of Nemo, that's pretty badass. And I know you probably didn't do that character, but I know you've worked with people to coach them on other Disney characters. So that to me is just like, wow, now I have one-to-one access with this person, and he gave me his website with his phone number on it, so I can actually work with him directly. That's how you monetize your content. You do what you love, you put it out there, but then you get it in front of the right eyeballs so that they want to work with you and they want to pay you.
And that's awesome. And thank you for sharing that with me. So
yeah.
So let's say you also mentioned people who have books.
Yes.
So part of the ask would be connecting to the book website.
Yeah. Yeah, you can even have a link to your Amazon. We have one of our channel partners, indie.com, where anything in the video is tagged for purchase links. So for example, in this particular webinar that we're doing right now, if I wanted to purchase your orange and white gingham shirt, there would be a link on the side to purchase it. They might even have something like a beard cream. I don't know what they call it, but that's like all the rage right now is the whole beard, like beard care.
Or just
Yeah.
like for men.
Yeah. Like for men, like beard oil, fancy, like eucalyptus beard oil is very fancy right now. Or I see in the back, I believe it's your book, the heart-centered book there on your bookcase. Is that yours with the red heart?
The heart
So
connection, yeah.
yeah, so I would be able to click on the side and purchase that. Also the frame up there, and then maybe I guess it's like a pottery or woven basket on the top. So there's different ways that you can monetize content. That's just one of our channel partners, Indie, that does that. And they pull links from everything. It doesn't even they don't even know where you got your shirt, but they will find somebody at Nordstrom's, a white and orange gingham shirt. So, and then our channel partners make a commission on that. But to kind of get back to it, the ability is there. It's just all what you want to do with it. So you can read a chapter every week if you want to, or a paragraph. If it's just like a 30-second, hey, Jean-Marc, I'm going to read you paragraph 1 in my book, or today's paragraph is, or something like that. And then you have a link at the end to purchase the whole book, because the goal is with content is somebody's going to hear something that speaks to their heart. Somebody is going to hear a little nugget and they want to learn more. And a lot of times we don't know what it is. We feel like we're jam-pack value into something and it might not be the thing, but yet I might just see the cute little like drawing in the background and then that touches me and I'm like, oh, you know what, I want to work with him. So it's really important. Unlike today's webinar, when I've been moving all around and now I'm in a messy hotel room, it's very important your environment, your content, and what you're asking people to do so that you're monetizing your content and you're not just putting it out there. Again, because I don't know anyone that just really does it just to do it.
And that's an awesome point to bring home, because I know that I love the work that I do. And for me to just be doing and sharing what my knowledge is just gives me plenty of joy. So, and being a creative person, I'm not even thinking, oh yeah, I'm monetizing. I'm like, no, I just want to share it. And I'm like, no, and you're bringing a point home. You want to monetize what it is that you're doing.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Now, one of the things, what is it that you, if you can share with us, because I know you have something, you have an ask as well, and you have something to facilitate the process for people. So if you can share with our audience, what is the opportunity here?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you where it came from too, because honestly, like I started my career in this media company as a talk show host, and I was perfectly fine filming 6 shows a week. We did 6 shows a day when we did film. And I loved it. I got to meet incredible guests. It was inspiring. It was amazing. And again, like I said, almost 90% of the people wanted their own show. So after a while, I just started to realize, okay, it's a little selfish to keep hogging the limelight, and I have to figure out how we can get shows for people. So we started giving a few people in our network and people that had come to us their own show. We started with our spin-off shows of Savor, a cooking show, Make It, which started with a couple of the interns that had worked on my show, and then it's a docu-series about models and actresses. We have The Goss, which was makeup artists that had worked on the show. And it was a big success. And so what we realized is that people really want to get out there. They want to get their story told. And so what we have now is we have a multi-channel network. So think like Hulu.com or Netflix. Those are multi-channel. Well, Netflix is a little different. Hulu is a multi-channel network where you can go there and you can find lots of different content. And that's what we do. We have a place where we will build you a channel. As you know, you have your own channel, Jean-Marc, so you can see, everybody can see exactly what that looks like. But basically, we build you a channel with your look and feel and your branding. We have a small fee in order to do that. And then once we've built out your channel, it includes the proprietary technology that will syndicate it to all 50 media outlets. So we have a very special offer for the people on your call. Essentially, there's no hidden anything. We're now a service provider for content creators to be distributed on 50 media outlets. Normally, we charge $5,000 to build out a channel, but because you've been a trusted, supported, amazing contributor to our network, for all of your audience, we're offering a deep discount of just $1,997 for a channel. And then we just charge a $97 a month management fee. So for as long as you're part of the network, we will manage the push out to all 50 media properties. And you can upload 100 videos a day. You can upload 1 a week. It's totally up to you. And we have people that do both. So, so that's it really. And people that are watching, they can go to younetworks.com, and we've outlined everything. We explain exactly what the network is, exactly what channels you'll be on. They can purchase from there, and then that site will take them to a special link for your guests that have that discounted offer. And yeah, that's what we do. That's what we're all about.
Well, that is awesome, and thank you for extending that offer to my audience. And
Oh, the one thing, they do have to enroll for a channel before October 1st, though, because we don't really have control over the price increases with the distribution. So we got special permissions for the next 48 hours to do that, but then they're like, nope, it's too expensive to build out a channel. So I just wanted to say that piece. Sorry.
well, thank you. So for a limited time only.
Yeah, limited time only. No joke. I guess that's what, 3 days, 72 hours to take action.
Okay, so the link is younetworks.com. Is that right?
.tv. So YOU networks.tv, and that will take them to the special page for your guests. They can watch, there's videos there that talk about the opportunity. Ooh, I like how that link pops up. That's exactly perfect. Ooh, my lighting is very bad.
Yeah, just like how amazing is that?
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. So yeah, they can go to that site and they can enroll for a channel. And then what happens from there? I always like to let people know, because I always watch his webinars, and I've like bought so many things and then nothing happens. You know, I have that right now with our webinar technology. We were supposed to use mine, and like we just never heard from them after paying them all this outrageous money. So quite funny. But anyway, what happens is once you enroll as a channel partner, you're immediately contacted from our distribution team, and we have a team that walks you through every step of the way to get your channel up and running. We build out the graphics. If you have graphics, we can use yours. And then essentially we teach you how to upload it. We give you a username and password so that you can upload anytime you want from anywhere you want. And within 72 hours of uploading a video, it's pushed out to so many of the 50 different outlets. Sorry, it's pushed out to the 50 different outlets. And we basically, like, you can literally upload a video on Monday, and on Wednesday you can go to the iTunes store, or you can go on Apple TV and find your video, which is pretty cool. So yeah, and then we also have some free bonus trainings that we do in there. We have some video trainings about production, about what to wear, what to say, how to hold the light. Like you can see, I want to do a little example. You can see how big a difference lighting makes. Look, if I'm here and I don't have the lighting centered, how bad the clip is, or if I'm over here. And then you just can turn your little grabber, whatever this fancy thing is called, and you can see the difference with lighting. And this is just one little hotel light. Like, I'm very limited right now, but see, this is just one little hotel light. But little tips and tricks like that about how to produce great video, which makes such a big difference, because we've all seen the videos like this, right? Hey, and it's horrible. So it's like,
I could use a little guidance here.
Yeah.
A little lamp or something to make, yeah.
Honestly, I'll tell you guys a trick. Okay, this is bonus number 1. Ooh. This big box just arrived today for the show, because we're filming a TV show here. This thing will change your life. Hold on. And I think it's $131. It's a light that looks like this. It's called a ring light. Oh. It's fragile, as claimed. I don't know what brand it is, but if you go to Amazon and type in Diva Light or ring light, you'll get a multitude of choices. I recommend the 14-inch because you can travel with it. It will change your life. You won't get this kind of video. It will look like we're on Hollywood sets. So, and it has a little contraption to hold your iPhone right in the middle of it. So that's perfect. Yeah. So just like little things like that that can completely transform your life are what we teach at BONBON Networks when you become a channel partner.
Very cool. Is that Diva Light?
Yeah, Diva Light, Ring Light, Halo Light, they're all pretty much in the same ilk, but they're really extraordinary as far as the video production quality. We used to produce, I think you came to M&N Studios at some point, but we had about 20 lights that would, focus on the 2 guests. And honestly, this one light for $121 or $31 is way better than the quality that they produce there. So, technology is pretty extraordinary these days, especially if you know the right technology to use.
So that's awesome. So if, let's say some people want to know more and they're not necessarily ready to jump on the offer, they have more questions. Is there a way to you or your team?
100%. Just email support@bonbonnetworks.com, and I will personally get back to you. If you email me tomorrow, I'll get back to you tomorrow. But if you email me on Friday when we're filming, I'll get back to you by Monday. But yeah, we have a support email, and that is, available to you. I don't want to say 24/7, but it's available 9 to 5 every day. And our team is amazing at getting back to you. So anything that you want to know, any questions that you have, just reach out if you want to schedule a call with me. I like to make myself very accessible because I just think it's the right thing to do. I mean, we do have a team of salespeople that work with most of our channel partners, but at the same time, like, I like to know these conversations. I want to know what questions people are asking because it helps guide, as a CEO, it helps guide the company and guide the technology and where we head. So, yeah.
And so here's one thing that's coming up for me. So let's say I have someone who really wants to do this, but they don't necessarily have the full 1997 right now. Is that a possibility to be able to lock in, or is it a workable thing?
Yeah, we do have a payment program as well. I think it's a little bit more to finance, maybe like $100 or $200 to finance it, but we can absolutely do that. And then we also offer, there's the light. We also offer PayPal credit. So we work with them as well, where they will actually, you have to qualify, but if you qualify, they'll fund you entirely. And then from there, you would get funded from them with 0% interest for 6 months, and then you pay us, and then you're off and running. So a couple of different options. We can either do payment plan, the finance option. We've got you covered.
And that is awesome. And thank you for that flexibility and clarifying that. So you heard it, guys. Bonnie, thank you so much for your time and sharing your expertise.
We got to see the world's cutest dog, as promised. Hold on. Can you say hello?
Hey. So you call it Jinjin?
That's Jinjin. She has her own show on the network too. Actually, she has 2 shows. You can check her out. She's at Cutie Paw Diaries, and then also The Adventures of Jinjin.
Awesome.
So cool. Well, thank you so much, everybody. And yeah, go to the unetworks.tv site. If you want to check out the network, that's at bonbonnetworks.com. And then you can click apply for a channel. You can get there many ways, but you can see in action the 100 channel partners that we have and some of the amazing content that they're doing. And we hope you join us. It's a lot of fun too. We have live events that we do. That's what we're doing here in Florida. We have 12 guest channel partners flying in, and we're doing a big media day and creating sizzle reels and branding, and it's going to be chaos and fun and creation. But yeah, I hope you join us at whatever level. It's a very cool industry to be in right now. You'll start to hear that term OTT now that I've said it. It's really the rage. It's where, I don't want to say it's the wave of the future. It's really the wave of now as far as media and how it's distributed. So yeah, so join us.
Yes. Well, thank you, Bonnie. So have a great day, night, wherever you are.
Thank you. I'm in Florida, so it's nighttime here. We're going to go for a walk on the beach and then get back to work.
Okay. And until next time, may the voice be with you.
Bye, everybody.